And then that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. We still have a couple of minutes before we start, but this is now the last chance to get your first points and pass the first test. Make sure that there is nothing on your table except for pens, answer sheets, table tents, and for those who have gotten glasses of water, glasses of water. Other than that, nothing else. We also have, could our two monitors identify themselves? We have Lucas over there, and Andrea is, where is Andrea? Andrea is over there. They are our two friendly monitors who will make sure that this policy is upheld for the next 3 hours. So please make sure that that is the only stuff that's on your table and you're not consulting anything electronic of any kind. That having been said, let's go ahead and start a minute early. Welcome, welcome to Washington, D.C. for the 24th Carlos and Malú Alvarez National Academic WorldQuest competition. Yeah, go ahead. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Before I once again reintroduce our CEO, just a couple of statistics for you to show you that you are a four-person team, but also there are several others around just like you, and so here are some statistics to show you. We have about 140 students from 32 schools across the United States taking part this year, representing 21 states. That is one more team and one more state than we had last year, so we are glad that we are on the rise. And of course, when we say the United States, we mean the United States because Alaska and Hawaii are also here, and we are very grateful to have you here. So welcome, welcome. Yep. The great state of Texas is sending us the most councils to this participatory event, so we are grateful for the many councils from Texas. But if you are from Florida and California, don't fret. Florida and California both sent one fewer council, so you're almost tied. So Florida, Texas, and California, thank you for showing up so strongly and with so many councils. And there's at least one council here who is here for the first time, not school here for the first time, but council here for the first time. I know that the Laredo World Affairs Council is here for the first time, so we want to shout out Laredo, as well as I want to say Albuquerque, because I think you were here many years ago, but you have not been for some time. And so Albuquerque and Laredo, if you'd stand to be recognized, we're very happy that you're here for the first time. And because this is an international relations competition and not a statistics competition, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to introduce again our CEO and president, Matthew Hughes, for a few opening remarks. Matthew.
We're so proud of you all for being here, and let me add my welcome to Washington, D.C. We asked you earlier for how many of you this was your first time in Washington, and it really is a treat to have all of you with us. I know that you've worked very, very hard to get here, and we're grateful for your time, the effort of your coaches and teachers, the effort of your local World Affairs Councils who have made this possible. I want to add my welcome as well to everyone watching from home. We have a few viewing parties happening around the country right now as we live stream this event, so hi to everybody at home. As Dan mentioned, this is the 24th annual National Academic WorldQuest competition, so you can imagine the careers and opportunities that individuals have gone on to who have been in these very seats before you. I want to give a special shout out to the World Affairs Council of Charlotte for being the first council in the country to host an Academic WorldQuest competition all those many years ago, and you can see where it has bloomed from there. I also want to make sure that you know about the people whose names are on this competition. Did you notice that it's a named competition? Carlos and Malú Alvarez, and you can read about Mr. and Mrs. Alvarez in your program. Where's our San Antonio Council? Where's the team from San Antonio? There they are. This was Mr. Alvarez's home council. Carlos Alvarez was an immigrant to the United States from Mexico who spent many years in the San Antonio community building a real network and a real community and a real care for the World Affairs Council of San Antonio as well, and very especially for this competition, a care for the National Network of World Affairs Councils as well as this competition. And so we're very, very grateful for the enduring legacy of Mr. Alvarez, his wife Malú, and the support of the Alvarez family in being able to offer this competition. The World Affairs Councils of America are 90 community organizations, 90 World Affairs Councils that help to strengthen the global perspective of their local communities. All of you have been beneficiaries of that from the Academic WorldQuest competition, but councils, as you probably know, put on a number of different programs through the course of the year. Speaker programs with journalists and professors and diplomats and authors and other experts, discussion groups, all sorts of other programs for students as well, to really help you open your eyes to the world. And we send a big hello to all of our council colleagues around the country, the 34 councils that are sending students today. As you know, we're here at a really important time. We're here at a time where knowing about the world is not optional. Where knowing about the world is part and parcel of what it means to be in the world. We're seeing all sorts of things happening around the world, all sorts of things that you see in the news that are happening in the headlines, and a number of things that you all have researched and looked into for your competition today. I really want to encourage and invite you to take your time here in Washington very seriously. I know that you've been hard at work preparing for this competition, really diving into all sorts of different rounds and topics, but take your time in DC seriously. I know that for many of you, you're exploring college opportunities, you're exploring what happens after high school, and we're really grateful to you for taking this opportunity, grabbing it by the horns and seeing where you can go after this. All of you have a very bright future. You have a bright global future, and we're delighted that this is part of your steps forward in that. Before I let you go on to your competition, I want to give one more very, very special thanks, and I hope you'll join me in thanking Dr. Dan Villanueva, our Director of Global Education, as well as our fabulous staff team, all of our interns, and the many, many volunteers who make today possible. This simply would not be possible without Dr. Villanueva and so many others, and we're very grateful. And very good luck to all of you.
Okay, thank you again very much, Matthew. I also have a, hopefully not long list, but relatively long list of people to thank, because of course, as with everything else, this could not be done just with one person, two people, or a committee here in DC. There are so many people to thank. Matthew has already thanked the Carlos and Malú Alvarez family for their many, many years of financial and organizational support for this contest, and I also want to officially thank them again for their support. We also want to thank our chief individual sponsor, Glenn and Mary Jane Kramer. Their support for this contest has never wavered. Their public and behind-the-scenes encouragement is always welcomed and always appreciated. We welcome in a special way a new and prominent sponsor to our midst. Hopefully you all had a chance to interact with them at the resource fair, the Indiana University Hamilton Lugar School of Global and International Studies. I don't know if Carissa is in the room, but if she is, we want to thank her in a special way for her support and the Lugar Institute's or the Lugar School support. But thank you for that. They're not only supporting our national contest this year, but they're also supporting their local council, which is the Indiana Council on World Affairs. The Indiana team, which is here today, is also being sponsored by the Lugar School, and so we're very, very grateful for that. We also want to welcome the American University School of International Service as an exhibitor for the first time. For me, that's special because I'm an alma mater of AU-SIS, so welcome as well to the AU School of International Service. We want to welcome our first prize sponsor back, Turkish Airlines. We'll be talking a little bit more about their sponsorship later on in the contest, but we are very, very grateful for the support of Turkish Airlines. We also have a number of individual donors as well, Dr. Richard and Ruth Krepage, Osmar Abib, the Serac Fund, Matthew Butler, and Dr. Sherry Mueller. This is a wonderful mix of first-time and established sponsors to Academic WorldQuest, and so we want to thank them as well. Rich and Osmar are also serving as judges today, so please join me in thanking all of these sponsors. You all studied very hard with our online study guide, and so of course we want to thank our resource sponsors as well for 2026, CFR Education, Global Campaign for Education US, Global Post, and the Financial Times. Many have supported us for years in countless ways. We could not do what we do without our resource sponsors. Y'all would have had a lot of different things to study for without them as well, so we're very, very grateful for them, as we are also for our international program partners, the ambassador and staff of the Embassy of Australia to the United States. We'll be visiting their embassy tomorrow. And many thanks to the ambassador and staff of the Embassy of Qatar, who will host us this evening after today's activities here at the National Press Club. Now, it's also great to be able to thank our WACA staff and interns who've been able to help us through so much of the preparation and today's contest. I want to thank Natasha Munker, our Marcoms manager, Suhaila Tyla, our Executive Operations and Relations manager, our newest colleague, events manager Martina Schwartz, all of whom have been invaluable in putting on this contest behind the scenes. If you see them wearing their name tags out there, please do stop by, say hi, and thank them. Also, all of our interns this semester, Sabine, who is interning with me directly to put the contest on, Samantha, Lucas, and Maria, also our valuable intern team. As you see them throughout the contest today, please also thank them for all of their support. Please join me in thanking all of them in a special way here. As I said, it takes a lot of people to pull this off. We have a lot of 2025 volunteers as well. Our judges, Nancy Hamlin, Dr. Rich Krepage, Osmar Abib, Marianne Maldonado. Our two judges' tables are up here. You will see our judges coming up in just a minute. We have scorers as well, who you most likely will not see. They are off in the back of the room there. Jonathan Ward, Jennifer Erie, Lila Stone, Kevin Lee, and our monitors, Lucas and Andrea Mendoza. And of course, our master scorekeeper, my boss, and our previous speaker, Matthew Hughes, our CEO. Last but not least are our round representatives. Each set of questions will be read by a different person. They will introduce themselves as they come up on stage, as they read, but we do want to thank all of them collectively right now as well. So thank you to our round readers and volunteers. I also want to thank any WACA World Affairs Councils of America board members who are here today. I know that Joyce Davis, I think I saw her over there before. Is Joyce still there? Or on this side? Well, Joyce Davis was one of our amazing WACA national board members. If there are other national board members here, please also be welcomed in our name and in WACA's name. Also, and finally then, and last but absolutely not least, some of you know my own story. I originally founded the Academic WorldQuest competition in Las Vegas, and so was here, literally in this very spot, well, not here, off to the side, cheering on my team, so I know how much work goes into the chaperones, the teachers, and the local council's efforts to be able to put this on. So thanks to each and every one of you, local council members, teachers, chaperones, parents, support staff. When I say we couldn't do it without you, it's not an exaggeration. We literally could not do it without the support of our local council network. So please, all of the teachers, chaperones, local council members, would you please stand to be recognized? All right, and now I promise we're getting to the competition. We're going to start with some of the basic rules for the competition. Academic WorldQuest is made up of 10 rounds of 10 questions each. Each question will be displayed on the monitors and read aloud by a round representative. On each table, you will see a set of colored answer sheets that coordinate with each round. Use these to circle the letter of each correct answer per question, and only one answer will be correct per question. Each team should already have a team captain designated, but if you don't, discuss amongst yourselves who might want to be your team captain. Essentially, that's the person, if you have a challenge, and we'll talk about a challenge in a second, or if you are ready to hand in your answer sheet, that's the person that should be handing it to the monitor who will take it, or that's the person who will be accepting your challenge sheet. So hopefully you'll have some team captains as well designated. Also, very, very important, write down your school name and team number on each of the answer sheets. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Your team number is found on your table tent to the left, bottom left of your team school. Okay, it looks like everyone is just about finished writing their school name and team number on each sheet, so we can go forward. As probably also at your local competition, the questions will be read individually and the question text will be shown on these monitors. Your team will have 45 seconds to answer each question, starting from when the question first appears on the slide, not starting from when the reader has finished. So if the text of the question is longer than 45 seconds, obviously you'll have that period of time to finish. But note that when you are ready to answer the next question, it's 45 seconds throughout the entire question series. After 45 seconds, a bell will sound. Can we hear that bell? That's what it's going to sound like. And then the slide will advance to the next question and it will be read. At the end of each round, a bell will also sound. You will then have 1 minute to edit any answers or make it very clear which of A, B, C, D is the answer you'd like. And then the team captain will fold the answer sheet in half and raise it up, and our monitors will come by and retrieve it, and then we'll move on to the next round. As you've already seen, teams are not allowed to consult with the audience, wireless devices, cell or smartphones, smartwatches, other teams, books, or written materials at any time during the competition. These, if you were listening to me before, these should already have been collected and given to your chaperones. Any team found by World Affairs Councils of America judges, monitors, or staff to be violating this rule will forfeit that round. Now, also, if one team believes another team is cheating, they can also let one of us know. However, if the other team is not found to be cheating or violating any rules, the team raising that accusation will forfeit a point. A team consists of 4 players at any one time, so there should be 4 players at your table. Team substitutions are not allowed. A player can only use the restroom or leave their table for other reasons during a scheduled break. There'll be 2 breaks during the contest. If you need to leave during a round, that's fine, but you will not be able to rejoin your team until the next round. Also, players, alternates, and other guests must remain off the competition floor at all times, and so that's also a nice big blue area on the carpet that divides the players and teams from the spectators, so let's keep it that way. The scoring, 1 point for each right answer, no penalties for a wrong answer or no answer to any question. And then, of course, if there is a tie for first through third place after the 10 official rounds, tiebreaker rounds will be played. Finally, challenging a question, and I'm going to read the whole point for this because I know that some local councils don't allow challenges while others do. So if your local council did not during your regular local competition, this may be new to you, but for everyone. There will be 3 periods during which teams may submit a written challenge to the judges using our official challenge form. These periods will occur directly following the recitation of the answers from the previous rounds. So after rounds 1 through 4, rounds 5 through 7, and then rounds 8 through 10, those are your 3 challenge period. Each team may submit no more than 2 challenges total, and the challenge form and your reasons for why you believe an answer that was read was incorrect and that you should get a point for a different answer must be written as completely as possible. No verbal discussion with the judges is allowed. Teams are not allowed to consult with audience members prior to submitting that written challenge, and the decision of the judge is final. If your challenge is found to be unsuccessful, you forfeit a point. If, however, your challenge is successful, you gain a point. Any questions? All right, everybody's ready to go. Good, good. Then let me mention our round representatives. They are experts in their respective fields. They will be on stage to read each a 10-question round. And they obviously have a lot of experience in their field, so if you see them afterwards hanging out, don't hesitate to talk to them. They are also very interested in interacting with you. Finally, before we start, we would like to go ahead and also introduce a special guest today, an AWQ alumnus from a couple years back. Kevin, if you'd like to come up to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Lee, and 7 years ago, I was sitting in the same seats as you guys are now, probably feeling pretty nervous, having just traveled from Hawaii to participate in this competition with my friends. Academic WorldQuest brought me to DC for the first time, where I was able to see our nation's capital and the center of our diplomacy and policymaking. By learning about pressing global issues through this competition and experiencing the city, it really inspired me to continue to pursue my interest in international affairs. So after high school, I came back to DC and pursued a degree in international politics at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service. And today, I'm lucky enough to be working as an intern at the Atlantic Council. So that's one of the many foreign policy-focused think tanks in DC. And I'm about to graduate with a master's degree in Asian Studies, also from Georgetown University. Because of the deep personal impact that Academic WorldQuest has had for me and my personal journey, it's really an honor to be back here helping with the competition today. Regardless of whether you guys want to pursue a career in this field or not, I hope that this competition inspires curiosity and interest in global affairs for many of you the same way that it did for me. And now, I know you guys are probably really excited and eager to get started, so without further ado, I hereby declare the 2026 Academic WorldQuest National Competition officially open.
There we are. Thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin is serving as one of our scorers today as well. All right, our first round is pop culture and soft power in international relations. Our round reader is Julia Sherwin, assistant publisher and executive director of the Global Education Initiative with Global Post. All of you should be familiar with the company she represents because it was one of your resources today. So please join me in welcoming Julia to the stage and use your white answer sheet for this round. There you go. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. How does Joseph Nye define the term soft power? A, a country's ability to coerce others through military force. B, a country's ability to manipulate another's economy. C, a country's ability to produce basic goods needed by others. Or D, a country's ability to influence others without resorting to coercion. In 1955, which U.S. congressman proposed legislation to create a U.S. State Department program that would send jazz musicians abroad as cultural ambassadors? A, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., B, John F. Kennedy, C, Dwight D. Eisenhower, or D, Gerald Ford? Which South Korean video game released in 2017 is said to be a good example of success in marketing to non-Korean audiences? A, World of Warcraft, B, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, C, League of Legends, or D, Tekken? Which 2024 Chinese-developed video game is cited as a major breakthrough in projecting its soft power through high-end AAA titles? A, Genshin Impact, B, Honor of Kings, C, Black Myth Wukong, or D, Game for Peace? India's soft power was significantly bolstered in 2014 when the UN, following a proposal by Prime Minister Modi, officially recognized June 21st as A, World Humanist Day, B, International Day of Yoga, C, World Hydrography Day, or D, World Motorcycle Day? In the context of Chinese soft power in the South Pacific, the China Dream is closely linked to which global development strategy? A, Global Civilization Initiative, B, Digital Silk Road and Technological Development, C, the Belt and Road Initiative, D, Global Development Initiative? Which U.S. Secretary of State is credited with concluding that an active program of public diplomacy was key in implementing NATO's two-track missile deployment decision? A, Henry Kissinger, B, George Shultz, C, James Baker, D, Madeleine Albright? The Center for Social and Economic Progress suggests that India's soft power appeal is currently more attractive to the developing world than elsewhere on the basis of which of the following? A, Indian food, films, and universities, B, Indian autos, hotels, and software, C, Indian fashion, food, and autos, or D, Indian democracy, autos, and films? Former Polish President Lech Walesa was referring to what influential Cold War soft power example when he asked, would there be an Earth without the sun? A, Olympic boycotts, B, the Peace Corps, C, the movie Top Gun, or D, Radio Free Europe? An example of soft power dynamics in Chinese activity in Fiji is A, mention of soft power investments in the 2018 Belt and Road Agreement, B, shared religious beliefs due to colonialism, C, a rise in Chinese pre-COVID tourism to Fiji, D, Chinese cultural centers, not investment or trade.
Okay, you have 1 minute to check your answers. Then please fold your answer sheets in half and give them to the monitors coming around. Prepare for round 2, read by Ivan Pankov, founder of the Youth International Relations Coalition. And for this round, you're using your orange answer sheet. Hey, you're an old hand. So what you did first, what's the... Did you have a good experience today?
Yes, it was wonderful.
Did you get a chance to connect with him?
No, I haven't. If you could, please look at that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Is he a scorer or a judge?
He's a judge. I'm sorry, he's a scorer. So, like, basically right after the competition is over, are you going to be able to stay there?
I can really go to the court, but I can come back because I'd love to.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, then please just come back up. The QR code should still work. And yeah, you can definitely meet him after the competition is over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get started. Question 1. The World Trade Organization and FIFA conducted a study stating the 4 main global impacts of the tournament on economy and trade were gross domestic product, GDP, trade and value added, jobs created, and A, tourist expenses, B, household incomes, C, tax income, D, jobs for women. Question 2. The 2022 World Cup contributed much to Qatar and regional economies. What accounted for much of the non-hydrocarbon output growth during the period leading up to that World Cup? A, the decade-long public investment strategy. B, the abolishment of the kafala system. C, second national development strategy. D, national tourism sector strategy. Question 3. What was Frederic Meunier referring to when he stated the 2022 World Cup in Qatar was almost like a battlefield of ideologies, rather than a football tournament? A. The ban on alcohol sales at stadiums 2 days before the World Cup began. B. Battle of the armbands. C. The unprecedented move to a winter schedule. D. The detention of journalists. Question 4. What is group greenwashing? A. Using biodegradable cleaning agents throughout a sports venue. B. A sustainability commitment more about public relations than making genuine, measurable changes. C. Recycling of all recyclables and composting organics from a sporting event. D. Using biodegradable paints throughout a sports facility. Question 5. In David Satterfield's interview of Christian Coates Ulrichsen, what term does Ulrichsen use to describe the instances in which authoritarian regimes use sport to polish their image? A. Sports washing. B. Soft power. C. Diversion. D. Greenwashing. Question 6. Which pair of sporting events were considered historical successes of sports diplomacy? A. Water polo match between Hungary and the Soviet Union in 1956, U.S.-Soviet Union men's basketball final in 1972. B. Water polo match between Hungary and the Soviet Union in 1956, ping pong matches with China in 1971. C. Baseball games between the United States and Japan after World War II and the 1972 U.S.-Soviet Union men's basketball final. D. Ping pong matches between China in 1971 and baseball games between the United States and Japan after World War II. Question 7. To help offset the cost of being a host city, Arlington, Texas, will be able to use all of the following sources except which below? A. Texas Trust Fund grants. B. Local tax money. C. Federal funds. D. FIFA funds. Eight, according to the Goal Economy Report, what two countries most saw GDP benefits from the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup? A. Australia and New Zealand. B. The US and China. C. Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. D. The US and Mexico. Question 9. A World Economic Forum article states, quote, hosting a World Cup is not really worth the investment, end quote. At the same time, it states hosting is, quote, not completely pointless, end quote, because A. It improves the tourism patterns for the country. B. Sport is a powerful tool to bridge societal divides. C. Hotels and restaurants increase revenue. D. Sporting infrastructure is utilized after the sporting event. And finally, question 10. The IOC recognizes some states not recognized by the United Nations, UN. Which below is such an IOC recognized state? A, Tibet. B, Kosovo. C, South Ossetia. D, Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Okay, you have 1 minute to check your answers, and then please go ahead and give them to the monitors who are walking around. Round 3 will be read by Julia McPherson, Executive Director of the Global Campaign for Education US, and those answers are to be written on the bright pink answer sheet. Let me pull that aside, and then you should have ready to go once they signal. So it should work.
Sounds good.
So how did it go? You've been able to speak to a lot of
Yeah, a lot of folks came over. It's been great. No, this is really a fantastic event. I'm really, it's really nice.
So once we dig out under all the statistics and clean up all that, I'd love to talk about what else we'd like to do in the future.
I'm supposed to hang out after my session. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then once you can like take a breath after the event's over, I'd love to talk again and catch up. Yeah,
Because we can offer you high school students, we can also offer you college students, and then at our national conference, obviously. I think you didn't really ask me originally to talk about that.
No, we chatted a little bit. It was like before the conference was happening, so I think we were late. But when is the conference? Is it in the fall?
It's in November.
Okay, that's why. I think it was kind of
18th or 22nd this
Yeah.
year, so the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, great. So yeah, maybe we can talk about that. Some opportunities.
Okay, thanks. So you can either do it either way. You can either start whenever you think you're ready, or I can do it whichever you prefer.
Yeah, ready to go? Okay.
Yeah, whenever, if nobody else has any orange sheets to hand.
Okay, let's see. It's great. Right. Did everyone hand in their sheets? Yep. All good? Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So this is round 3, migration and immigration. Question 1. How does the U.S. government distinguish refugees from asylum seekers and asylees? A, refugees are inside the U.S. at the time of application. B, asylum seekers and asylees are outside the U.S. at the time of application. C, asylum seekers and asylees apply when they arrive at the U.S. border or shortly thereafter. D, refugees apply when they arrive at the U.S. border or shortly thereafter. Question 2. The UN High Commission on Refugees estimated there were nearly 37 million refugees as of 2024. 3 countries and a group administered by UNRWA at that time accounted for over 60% of those. These are A, Eritrea, Syria, Palestinians, and South Sudan. B, Central African Republic, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and Palestinians. C, Syria, Palestinians, Afghanistan, and Ukraine. D, Kurds, Ukraine, Syria, and South Sudan. Question 3. What is the top country of origin for migrants, as stated by a CFR education report? A, Ukraine. B, China. C, Mexico. D, India. Question 4. The fall of the Assad government in December 2024 resulted in more than 1 million Syrians returning to their hometowns. What was the source of the greatest number? A, refugees from Turkey. B, refugees from Jordan. C, internally displaced persons. D, refugees from Lebanon. Question 5. The European Neighborhood Policy, ENP, set the stage for both securitization and externalization. What is the core aim of externalization? A, preventing migrants from reaching Europe's shores. B, treating migration as a security issue. C, remigration. D, streamlining the asylum application process. Question 6. Which aspect of education below illustrates the following statement by Julia McPherson? Quote, schools provide the stability needed for children to cope with the loss, fear, stress, and violence experienced during times of crisis, end quote. A, education is universal. B, education helps build economies. C, education is transformative. D, education keeps us safe. Question 7. Gallup surveys over the last decade show more people almost everywhere want to migrate than over a decade ago. Where do the biggest increases occur? A, Asia, the US and Canada, and sub-Saharan Africa. B, Australia, New Zealand, Commonwealth of Independent States, and South Asia. C, Latin America, sub-Saharan Africa, and the US and Canada. D, Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Question 8. Where did most of the 55,000 Indians expelled from Uganda in 1972 migrate? A, South Africa. B, United Kingdom. C, Kenya. D, Tanzania. Question 9. What is the key takeaway from the latest Gallup survey data regarding the increased desire to migrate? A, there was a significant increase in migrant sending regions. B, the percentage of people who plan to move is almost equal to the percentage who would like to move. C, the increase was in both migrant sending regions and in migrant receiving regions. D, 10% of potential migrants would like to relocate to Canada. Question 10. Yasmin Zarlouleh suggests some strategies the EU could use in Africa from which so many are fleeing. One is to work with local actors to resolve armed conflicts in these countries. What is the second? A, launching nation-building programs to help make such states more stable long-term in Southern Africa. B, ensuring that investments and training initiatives are concentrated in urban centers. C, directing investments into new economic sectors. D, utilizing EU educational institutes to introduce vocational training and education programs.
Yep. Okay, is everyone ready to go for the next round? Good, good. This next round is going to be read by Dr. Daniel Katz, who is Director of the Office of Diplomatic Engagement and Training of the Borough of Manhattan Community College. To answer your questions, please use the yellow answer sheet. Dr. Katz.
Good afternoon. This round is the U.S. Constitution and Foreign Policy. Question 1. The Wilson-Gorman Tariff Act, 1894, lowered U.S. tariff rates from then record highs. How did the act raise alternative revenue to compensate? A, it introduced a permanent income tax. B, it levied high immigration fees. C, it introduced a permanent property tax. D, it levied high corporate fees. Question 2. Gallup found that Americans' foreign policy preferences in 2021 were largely the same as in 2017. Which of the statements below is in said top priorities? A, preventing terrorism, economic development, and working with the UN. B, pursuing favorable trade deals, promoting democracy, and securing energy supplies. C, curtailing nuclear proliferation, securing energy supplies, and preventing terrorism. D, promoting democracy, economic development, and securing energy supplies. Question 3. Which of the presidents below requested and received authorization to use military force? A, Presidents George H.W. Bush and Harry Truman. B, Presidents George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush. C, Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. D, Presidents Harry Truman and Lyndon Johnson. Question 4. During the Syrian civil war, President Obama described a red line for the Assad regime. What does Stephen Wertheim believe the problem was surrounding this issue? A, there was no follow-through after the chemical attacks of the Assad regime. B, the Russians intervened. C, the president adopted a regime change policy. D, there were no U.S. boots on the ground. Question 5. What is unique about the 2001 authorization for use of military force compared to previous declarations of war? A, it instructs the president to carry out the military action with respect for human rights. B, it requires yearly reauthorization from Congress. C, it describes rather than names an enemy. D, it allows the president to cede war-making authority to NATO and the United Nations. Question 6. Since the 1790s, of the hundreds of treaties submitted to the U.S. Senate for approval, how many has the Senate refused to approve? A, fewer than 25, B, between 30 and 50, C, between 60 and 80, D, more than 80. Question 7. What does a war powers resolution do? A, prevents the president from deploying troops without first asking Congress. B, establishes that the Supreme Court has authority on what constitutes a lawful declaration of war. C, requires that the president notify Congress within 48 hours of deploying troops. D, lowers the threshold to authorize military action in Congress to a simple majority. Question 8. According to the Constitution, the Senate can approve, reject, or sit on treaties. However, in recent decades, presidents have circumvented the Senate. How? A, by striking bilateral and multilateral agreements with other countries on their own authority. The agreements are not binding commitments under U.S. law. B, by issuing executive orders to enact the agreements. C, by having the agreements approved by the House. Or D, by striking bilateral and multilateral agreements with other countries on their own authority. The agreements are binding commitments under U.S. law. Question 9. On November 19, 1919, the Senate rejected President Wilson's Treaty of Versailles. What was unique about this treaty? A, senators were involved in the treaty negotiations. B, the treaty was amended to include the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's reservations. C, President Wilson appeared personally before the Senate to seek advice on how best to negotiate the treaty. Or D, it was the first peace treaty rejected by the Senate. Question 10. The U.S. Supreme Court has heard several cases involving the separation of powers, particularly the meaning of advice and consent. Which landmark case upheld the Senate's right to amend a treaty negotiated by the President? A, Kucinich versus Bush, 2002. B, Gore versus Bush, 2000. C, Goldwater versus Carter, 1979. Or D, Haver versus Yanker, 1869.
Okay, you have 1 minute to check your answers. Then please fold the answer sheets in half, give them to the monitors coming around. After that, once all the answer sheets are in, we will take a 10-minute break, meaning we will be back here at 2:10 to start the next round. While the break is going on, the answers for the previous 4 rounds will be shown on the screens, and should you wish to challenge any questions, you will have that opportunity. It's 2:10, everyone, so let's go ahead and get back and ready to go. The light blue answer sheet is the one that we'll want for round 5, light blue answer sheet. And I've been asked by the judges in the judges' room to note your correct answer. Please don't scratch it out or put an X on it, just circle it. Just circle it. The judges would love to see round circles on the correct answer as opposed to dark blotches or X's or other things. So again, round circles. I don't know, clockwise, counterclockwise, round circles for your answers. All right, please welcome to the stage Joanna Pineda, CEO of the Matrix Group, to read round 5. And again, it is a light blue answer sheet that you'll be filling in this time. Yeah, clap, sure. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. And
I haven't done anything. You all have done the hard work. Okay. We ready for questions about the Belt and Road Initiative? All right. The Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, is composed of 2 primary components: the Silk Road Economic Belt and a chain of ports known as the A, Digital Silk Road, B, 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, C, Indo-Pacific Corridor, D, Blue Dot Network. NPR noted that as the BRI passed its 10th anniversary, the volume of projects funded by the Chinese government has stagnated. What does the article point to as the cause? A, Western-aligned countries pushing back against the BRI, China's economic growth slowdown, C, shifts in Chinese leadership, D, Chinese industry not being able to keep up with demand. In the study of international relations, economic statecraft describes the various uses of economic tools to advance foreign policy goals. When a country uses foreign aid or sanctions, they employ A, soft power, B, hard power, C, persuasive power, D, sharp power. In the Pacific, many nations have maintained sovereign malleability regarding the BRI. This is A, ceding territorial sovereignty in exchange for debt forgiveness, B, leveraging geopolitical competition between China and the US to maximize developmental gains, C, formally joining the Chinese military alliance, D, adopting the Chinese yuan as an official state currency. To compete with the BRI, the US and G7 partners launched a multilateral alternative focused on areas like energy security and digital technology called the A, Marshall Plan 2.0, B, Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, C, Trans-Pacific Infrastructure Pact, D, Global Gateway Initiative. A primary concern for nations participating in the BRI is debt traps diplomacy, which occurs when A, China refuses to lend to nations with low credit scores. B, debtor nations are forced to hand over control of strategic infrastructural assets upon default. C, the IMF provides emergency loans to cover Chinese debts. D, Western nations sanction any country accepting Chinese infrastructure. Unlike the Marshall Plan, which was generally composed of grants to rebuild Europe, the BRI is primarily funded through A, non-binding verbal agreements, B, loans provided by national development banks and dedicated funds, C, direct military equipment transfers, D, philanthropic donations from Chinese billionaires. Current Western strategies to counter the BRI emphasize better offers for developing nations. Which of the following is being prioritized in these strategies? A, speed of construction over environmental safety. B, transparency and sustainability. C, exclusive use of foreign labor for all projects. D, lowering loan interest rates to 0%. One major goal of the Western-backed Lobito Corridor project is A, increasing production and trade of critical minerals, B, countering African terrorism, disrupting supply chains, C, ultimately connecting Angola to the Mediterranean, D, countering Zambian and Congolese regional hegemony. According to Chatham House, BRI projects in which country below have fed the narrative that the BRI is synonymous with corruption. A, Kenya, B, Greece, C, Pakistan, D, Malaysia.
Okay, you have 1 minute to check your answers. As always, then please fold those answer sheets and hand them to the monitors. And before our next round begins, we will have a score update. So let's make sure that your blue answer sheets are turned in. Yeah, once all the answer sheets are in. Okay. Or once all the answer sheets have been turned in.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Or shall I? Okay, I'll try.
I'm like, I don't know how to introduce myself. I'm just like, hello, I'm an intern.
No worries. Now I know what it's like to be on stage because it's so hard to see back there with all the lights.
It looks good. Like, I was watching the live stream in the scoring room, and it looks really nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it.
They were doing all of the rapid scoring, and it should be faster just because there's one less round this
Yeah,
time.
that's cool. I'm sorry, I just completely didn't even think about it. I was like, it's 2:10, let's go. And I'm like, what?
It was taking a second, so I wasn't sure. Like,
Yeah, no, that was all on
it
me.
wasn't on me either. I was just like waiting there.
No worries.
It worked out.
Oh, Kevin is running up here. Okay, are all the answer sheets turned in? Okay, if all the answer sheets are turned in, then let me introduce Samantha Moore, one of our interns this semester. You know her already as the bell ringer. She is also the interim score updater. So Samantha.
All right, hi everyone. So after rounds 1 through 4, I would like to say that round 1 had 2 perfect scores, round 2 had 4 perfect scores, and round 4 had 2 perfect scores. So currently in 3rd place is Pembroke Hill. And then there is currently a tie for 1st place between Aubrey Rogers and Flower Mound.
Okay, thank you very much. And it is now my pleasure to welcome Heidi Ropa from American Councils for International Education to the stage. The answers that you will be, the answer sheet you'll use is the green answer sheet. So green answer sheet for the tariffs and trade round. And Heidi, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon. Are you ready for tariffs and trade? All right. Number 1, the Smoot-Hawley Act was meant to blank but blank. A, exclusively raise tariffs on imported oil, but resulted in an average tariff increase of 30% on all imported goods. B, only reduce tariffs on imported fruits and vegetables, but instead reduce tariffs on a variety of food items. C, only raised tariffs on foreign agricultural products, but instead raised all tariffs by an estimated average 20%. D, raised tariffs only on European products, but instead raised tariffs on all imported goods by 15% on average. Number 2, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, global trade growth compared to global GDP was stalled since 2008 because of the A, corruption in developing countries has diminished the benefits of global trade. B, lack of structural transformation in lower income countries and protective policies developed by advanced economies. C, regionalized conflicts around the world creating obstacles for free trade. D, 2008 financial crisis. Number 3, for the countries in the southern region, the rise in South-South trade could mean A, more protectionist measures being established by developed economies. B, weakening of international trade organizations like the WTO in favor of bilateral agreements. C, lower dependence on traditional trade partners and fostering regional economic integration. D, a reduction in global military conflict through economic integration. Number 4, trade in goods is currently 134 times greater than it was 60 years ago. What helped drive this growth? A, the integration of national economies into the global trade system. B, public-private investment in global trade logistics. C, the growth of the internet as an e-commerce platform. D, waves of democratization between the 1990s and 2000s. Number 5, an increase in the blank of non-tariff measures can hinder blank in economy's global competitiveness. A, scope/large. B, complexity and compliance cost/developing. C, compliance costs/regional. Or D, enforcement/developing. Number 6, when producing goods overseas, many companies choose Vietnam because of A, goods manufactured in Vietnam do not pay tariffs when imported to the U.S. B, lacks pollution laws, weak labor regulations, and proximity to industrialized countries. C, a U.S. ban on Chinese-made goods. D, its geographic location makes shipping easier and accessible to most countries. Number 7, in the Bronze Age, wine was first carried in blank, large bulbous pottery vases lined with wax. A, pithos. B, stamnos. C, amphorae. Or D, vase. Number 8, according to the Brookings Institution, when did South-South trade surpass North-North trade for the first time? A, fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. B, global financial crisis, 2007 through 2009. C, first George W. Bush presidency, 2001 through 2005. D, the formation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, 2018. Number 9, the start of Hyundai was used as an example of infant industry protection by Planet Money because A, the South Korean government used tariffs policy and subsidies to help it become a global competitor in the automotive industry. B, the U.S. gave the South Korean government foreign aid to protect its car manufacturing industry from North Korean influence. C, the South Korean government reached a deal with Hyundai to protect it from Kia, a rival car manufacturer. D, South Koreans wanted protection from the increased amount of cheap imported Soviet vehicles like the Avto Vaz Lada. Number 10, according to the Council on Foreign Relations, how did the use of subsidies leave the U.S. with 500 million pounds of government cheese? A, subsidies incentivized foreign companies to import cheese into the U.S., prompting the federal government to buy and store it to avoid market disruption. C, upon receiving subsidies, farmers produced a surplus of milk, prompting the federal government to buy it and turn it into cheese to avoid waste. C, cheese producers sought to leverage the subsidies and increase production via U.S. Army, causing an overpurchase of cheese in its emergency storage. D, an overproduction of cheese in Wisconsin caused the federal government to buy the surplus in hopes of avoiding negative effects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
No problem. I think I tried to turn it to the next one.
Good. Thank you. Okay, as with previous rounds, you have 1 minute to check your answers, then fold your answer sheet in half and give them to the monitors coming around. The next round is round 7. It will be read by Jesse Tansen, Assistant Public Diplomacy Officer, Delegation of the European Union to the United States. Use your purple answer sheet for this round. Purple answer sheet.
Great. Question number 1. Rising temperatures are not expected to destroy coffee plants outright, but why is climate change still a concern in this regard? A, reduced quality per bean. B, reduced yield per plant. C, increased acidity per bean. D, increased soil usage per plant. Question 2. According to CFR Education's Climate Change and the Coffee Industry, which coffee brand sent leaf rust-resistant plants to Mexico in 2014? A, Peet's. B, Starbucks. C, Nespresso. D, Illy. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics found that in 2020, COVID, A, did not significantly affect American demand for coffee. B, caused a reduction in American coffee consumption. C, cost the U.S. its status as the world's #1 coffee importer. Or D, reduced American coffee supply reserves. Which country produces about 45% of the world's cocoa, a key ingredient in chocolate? A, Mali. B, Burkina Faso. C, Côte d'Ivoire, or the Ivory Coast. D, Rwanda. According to UNICEF, what is a self-perpetuating cause of poverty in the cocoa sector? A, lack of government investment. B, child labor. C, premium investment funds. D, cocoa grower cooperatives. After researching fair trade policies in the Ivory Coast, Cornell University's Eva Mimkin states that everyone needs to be more blank about what this certification can accomplish for workers. A, optimistic. B, pessimistic. C, realistic. D, idealistic. The International Coffee Organization's Jose Sede claims this region is the most exciting market in terms of growth in the coffee sector today. A, Asia. B, Latin America. C, Central Africa. D, Northern Europe. Experts hope that coffee species blank can allow researchers to develop future ways to mitigate the effects of climate change. A, stability. B, adaptability. C, portability. D, diversity. According to the Corporate Accountability Lab, COVID's effects on the chocolate industry workers highlighted the persistence of all supply chain problems below except A, unsafe working conditions, B, low wages, C, lack of adequate health care, D, exploitative labor practices. Americans' preferred coffee variety, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is A, Arabica, B, Robusta, C, Liberica, D, Stenophila.
Okay, you've got 1 minute to check your answers, then fold your answer sheets in half and hand them to the monitors, after which we'll take another 10-minute break and the answers to the previous 3 rounds will be shown on the screen. So let's reconvene. The contest will reconvene at 2:50 p.m., 10 of 3, 2:50 p.m., and in just a second we will put up the answers on screen for the previous 3 rounds. Okay, it is 2:50, but we are waiting for two things. One, a challenge has been turned in, so we're going to wait for the results of that challenge. And two, we're also waiting for the score update. So it'll be a couple more seconds, talk amongst yourselves, and then we'll get back to work in a sec. We have a score update? Great. All right, let's go up for the score update. After that, we'll have a challenge report. After that, we'll start with nuclear policy issues. Caroline Nechvolodov from CFR Education will be here to read those. So, Samantha.
All right, so after round 5, there were 2 perfect scores. Round 6 had 3 perfect scores, and round 7 had 1 perfect score. So in third place from the Naples Council on World Affairs is Aubrey Rogers High School. And then there is currently a tie for first. Again, so from the Indiana Council on World Affairs, it's Carmel High School. And they are tied with the World Affairs Council of Dallas-Fort Worth's Flower Mound High School.
Okay, looks like we are still waiting on the challenge. We'll be right back. Okay, there was a challenge listed, as I mentioned. We won't mention the school, but we can mention the question was round 7, coffee and chocolate, and question 8. The challenge was not sustained, so the correct answer is still the correct answer that we showed up on the board. So the team that lodged this challenge will forfeit 1 point, and we'll communicate that to the judges in just a second. All right, that having been said, let's go ahead and do our next round, which is nuclear policy issues. Is Caroline Nechvolodov here? If she is not here, we do have a great pinch hitter, Martina, who is our events manager. Oh, is Caroline here? Yay, Caroline, welcome, welcome. Please come in. Good, good. Caroline's name may not be familiar to you, but her resource is. As you know, CFR Education is one of our round and resource supporters, and questions have been permeated throughout this competition. So Caroline, thank you so much for being a supporter, and next round is yours.
I love it. Good to see everybody here. I was part of an It's Academic team in high school at Walt Whitman, which is not too far from here, so I'm reliving my past a little bit. I am going to dig right in if everybody's ready. I think that's the idea. All righty, round 8, nuclear policy issues. According to CFR Education, countries sometimes prioritize allies or blank above reducing the risk nuclear weapons pose. A, expanding export markets. B, building strategic partnerships. C, adjusting strategic alliances. D, protecting domestic energy sources. I think I get a beep when it's time to move on, is that right? Great. Question 2. According to American University professor Sharon Weiner, the film Oppenheimer portrays all items below incorrectly except A, Oppenheimer's romantic interests, B, the reason for the specific Trinity tests, C, the heroism of the downwinders, and D, Oppenheimer's later anti-nuclear stance. Question number 3. The, quote, Atoms for Appalachia, unquote, report claims nuclear energy's positive attributes include all but which of the following? A, high energy density. B, source of decarbonized electricity. C, clean, reliable energy source. And D, comparatively low operating cost. All right, question number 4. Prior to 1968's Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, the first country to call for a ban of nuclear technology distribution in 1961 was A, Ireland, B, China, C, the United States, and D, India. Okay, moving on to question number 5. According to an NPR report, the final cost of building a nuclear reactor is often more than how many times the originally planned expense? Is it A, double, B, triple, C, quadruple, and D, quintuple? Question 6. A CFR Education article lists all but which of the following reasons why South Africa initially chose to acquire nuclear weapons? Is it A, Mozambique's independence from Angola, B, Zimbabwe's anticipated independence. C, Soviet-backed communist movements. Or D, Portuguese decolonization. Question 7. A recent CSIS report notes that Kazakhstan has generous uranium reserves but cannot exploit these fully due to what reason? A, an inability to enrich uranium domestically. B, export bans to anywhere but former Soviet republics. C, U.S. sanctions from the Jackson-Vanik Amendment. Or was it D, a growing domestic anti-nuclear movement? Okay, question 8. CFR Education notes what facts about nuclear weapons today relative to the 1980s? A, there are more nuclear weapons and more nations with them. B, there are fewer nuclear weapons and fewer nations with them. C, there are fewer nuclear weapons but more nations with them. And D, there are more nuclear weapons and more nations but fewer nations with them. Question number 9. Which non-nuclear nation at the time the Non-Proliferation Treaty went into effect was the first to test a weapon thereafter? Was it A, Brazil, B, India, C, Israel, or D, South Africa? Okay, the final nuclear policy question, number 10. The Advanced Nuclear State Collaborative Interstate assists cooperation in the nuclear innovation ecosystem. Which of the below is notably not part of the ANSC? Is it A, the National Association of State Energy Officials, NASEO? Or B, the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners? Or C, the U.S. Department of Education? And finally, D, the U.S. Department of Energy. It's so great to see all of these wonderful kids, interacting and so serious. It's great to see you.
Okay, 1 minute or a little less than 1 minute now, I guess, to check your answers, and go ahead and hand in your score sheets to our monitors who are going around. We just have a couple of rounds left, and we're very excited that we will soon have a winner and a second and a third place team. Okay, and now we're going to be able to answer those questions about the focus country, Australia. And we are very happy and honored to welcome to the stage Group Captain Deborah Gregg, CSC, who is the Assistant Defense Attaché at the Australian Embassy. We will be visiting there tomorrow. And please write your answers on the pink answer sheet. Group Captain, thank you so much.
G'day and welcome to round 9. Hopefully the accent doesn't throw you. Question 1. According to Bruce Jones of Brookings, although Australians may be concerned about shifting US policy priorities, what shared geopolitical threat might ensure bilateral cooperation? A. Climate change. B. China. C. Energy supply chains. Or D. India. Question 2. An NPR report stated that issues influencing the 2025 Australian national elections, including all but which of the following? A. Increased cost of living. B. Energy policy. C. US tariffs. D. Immigration. Question C. Rosticon states which film superhero below, portrayed by an Australian, has a rugged, laid-back charisma that could only come from the Australian outback? A. Thor. B. Wolverine. C. Harley Quinn. Or D. Hela. Question 4. Brookings states the largest single cost category to Australia in the AUKUS agreement is for A. Modernisation of Harold E. Holt Naval Communication Station. B. Submarines. C. Oil. Or D. Expansion of the US-Australia Pine Gap Satellite Facility. Question 5. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace lists 4 security discussions needing resolution between US and Australian policymakers: pre-commitment, geography, force posture, and which one of the below? A. Command integration. B. Maritime operations. C. Ballistic integrity. Or D. Coalition defence. Question 6. The 2024 AUKUS Defence Ministers' joint statement explicitly listed which country as a potential collaboration partner on advanced capability projects alongside the UK, USA and Australia. A. Japan. B. Canada. C. India. Or D. The Philippines. Question 7. Australia's most recent comprehensive national defence strategy envisions nearly doubling its defence spending by 2033. This anticipates major expenses for all but which area below? A. New military bases on its western coast. B. Acceleration of weapons procurement. C. Boosting defence sector innovation. Or D. Boosting defence sector production. Question 8. Australia is the world's largest producer of wool. In what year did the US first allow imports of wool to this country and why? A. 1920, because of a sheep pandemic. B. 1940, because the War Department lifted restrictions. C. 1950, because of Cold War trade pressures. Or D. 1960, because of bilateral import reforms. Question 9. According to the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, in today's Australian political climate, raising defence spending is A. Inherently controversial. B. Only supported by the governing Labor Party. C. A shared bipartisan consensus. Or D. Only supported by the opposition Liberal National Coalition. Final question. China has been Australia's largest two-way trading partner since 2008. Which country did it overtake that year? A. Japan. B. Oh, we've got a different question. Okay, that has been passed. Okay, correction, we've been a change. In 1915, Australia imposed an import embargo on which product below that was not lifted until 1989? A. Sugar. B. Wool. C. Oil. Or D. Beef.
Okay, again, you have 1 minute to check your answers, and then we will have our final round and our final series of 10 questions. Okay, fold your answer sheets and hold them up so that our monitors can come by and pick them up. Okay, do we have all the answer sheets, or are there any left to collect? Are we good? Okay, great. Then let me just tell you briefly what's going to happen after this round, current events. After this round, we will go ahead and announce the answers for the previous 3 rounds. There'll be an opportunity for you to challenge, but we will not update the scores at that point because the final update will be when we announce either that we need tiebreakers or that we have a winner of the competition. So after this, there will be the showing of the answers, a brief break, and then calling y'all back in. But before that, of course, the final set of questions will be answered on your lime green answer sheet, and it's my pleasure to call to the stage my colleague, Marketing and Communications Manager of the World Affairs Councils of America, Natasha Munker.
Best of luck, everyone. Question number 1. In the midst of the current conflict with Iran, with which country below did Saudi Arabia sign a defense cooperation agreement? A, the United Arab Emirates, B, Ukraine, C, Egypt, or D, the United Kingdom? Question number 2. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, 2 European countries have increased their dependence on Russian energy. They are A, Hungary and Slovakia, B, Slovakia and the Czech Republic, C, Poland and the Czech Republic, or D, Hungary and Poland? Question number 3. Which country below has had 7 presidents in the last decade leave office before completing a full term, the latest on March 3rd of this year? A, Venezuela, B, Ecuador, C, Peru, or D, Chile? Question number 4. Writing in the Financial Times, Jonathan Panikoff states Iran's aggression will bring the Gulf countries closer to the United States. What is the major reason? A, they can decline offers from China for a defense cooperation agreement. B, the region needs America and Israeli technology to defend themselves. C, there is distrust of Israel. Or D, they will gain access to U.S. nuclear technology. Question number 5. The EU and Australia recently agreed to a major free trade deal. Which of the following was not a reason for this agreement? A, access to critical minerals in Australia. B, closer collaboration on defense, crisis management, maritime security, and emerging technologies such as AI. C, reducing exposure to geopolitical shocks and shifting global trade dynamics. Or D, introducing agricultural quotas for beef and lamb. Question number 6. Which country below has very recently put itself in the middle of the US-Iran peace talks? A, Oman, B, Kuwait, C, Pakistan, or D, Qatar? Question number 7. In addition to Viktor Orban, which other European prime ministers has a reputation, per Global Post, of being one of the most pro-Russian leaders? Friedrich Merz, Robert Fico, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, or D, Donald Tusk? Question number 8. Haiti is scheduled to hold national elections in late 2026. When was the last national election held there? A, 2016, B, 2018, C, 2020, or D, 2022? Question number 9. The European Parliament voted on March 26, 2026, to advance a trade deal between the EU and the US. In addition to sunrise, suspension, and sunset clauses, what is another significant safeguard? A, the US lowering its levies on EU products with steel and aluminum content of more than 50% to a maximum tariff of 15%. B, key sectors must not include pharmaceuticals. C, U.S. lowering its levies on EU products with steel and aluminum content of less than 50% to a maximum tariff of 15%. Or D, the EU and the U.S. are to remove most important duties. Question number 10. Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was sentenced to life in prison in February. Why? For bribery while in office, for misappropriating funds while in office, reorganizing the state militia under his sole command, or D, for leading an insurrection by declaring martial law in late 2024.
Okay, not quite all have been turned in, but once all have been turned in, then I'll go ahead and put the answers up. We will have, again, a 10-minute break while the judges tabulate the scores, and then one of two things. Either congratulations of our first, second, third place teams, or tiebreakers. And as is our tradition at the national competition, regardless of whether your team is tied for first, second, or third place, everybody participates in tiebreakers. So, again, are we set with all of the answer sheets? Got all the answer sheets? Look good? Thumbs sideways, up? Up, all right. Great, then let's go ahead and put the answers up for rounds 8 through 10, and we will reconvene at 3:35. 3:35. This is also your last opportunity to challenge rounds 8 through 10. We'll see everybody back here at 3:35. Gather our teams back in here if we can. Gather our chaperones back in here if we can to announce whether or not we have tiebreakers and to give out a couple of other awards. Okay, are all teams and all counselors, chaperones, family members, coaches, etc., are we all here? Yeah. Anybody who's not here, please raise your hand. Okay, then let's go ahead. As I mentioned, there's a couple of awards that we're going to be giving out. The first is obvious, the most important, I would say, is probably the first, second, third place. That's going to come in a second. But as you may know, next year is Academic WorldQuest's 25th anniversary. And to kick it off, yes, please applaud. And to kick it off, your councils and Academic WorldQuest coordinators were asked to help us choose a logo, a special logo for next year. Eligible councils were those who sponsored an AWQ team, so all of you, as well as any councils who sponsored an AWQ winning team in previous years but may not have sent one this year. We ended up with 6 great designs, and before we announce the winners, please let's recognize all the councils and teachers who submitted entries. They are the World Affairs Council of Kentucky and Southern Indiana, and I know a team is here today. The World Affairs Council of Dallas-Fort Worth. The Indiana Council on World Affairs. And the World Affairs Council of Miami. Yeah. You'll notice, of course, that I only mentioned 4 councils, so only 4 councils submitted, but you could submit more than one design. So in 2 councils' cases, they submitted more than one. It was not an easy decision for us at the national office or on the Academic WorldQuest task force to make, but we indeed found 3 first place, second place, and third place team. So for the third place design, would you please join me in welcoming up to the stage the World Affairs Council of Kentucky and Southern Indiana. You can see the winning design, or I should say the third place design up there, but please accept that with our congratulations. Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations. We also have some gifts for you as well, individually, for the design team, and they are here. Where are they? I think they're outside. We will get them for you in a second. Don't leave without getting those gifts. Thank you. All right, congratulations to the third place team, the World Affairs Council of Kentucky and Southern Indiana. And in second place, one of the 2 entries from the World Affairs Council of Dallas-Fort Worth. Would your team please come up wherever you are? Where is our second place team? There we are. Oh, there they are. All right, congratulations to you. And where's our photographer? There, please. All right, congratulations. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, at least part of the moment anyway, when we find out which logo will be the official logo for the 25th anniversary of Academic WorldQuest. It will be placed on all of our electronic and print materials, and if you already have a save the date card, it's already on there. Ooh. But at any rate, we kind of slyly stuck that in, but please join me in congratulating the Indiana Council on World Affairs. There. And where is our photographer? There you go.
Oh, hi, Jason.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to your council, your design team, and your chaperones. And again, congratulations to everyone who submitted the design. The design that you see behind me and off to the side will be on all of our official publications from now until next year's Academic WorldQuest contest. I am told reliably that we did not need a tiebreaker this year, so we are going to be able to announce our third, second, and first place winners directly. And to do that, I would like to bring back our CEO and President of the World Affairs Councils of America, Mr. Matthew Hughes.
Wow. Well, I want to start by congratulating everyone. Those were some incredible scores you had coming back to the scoring room. Congratulations. In round 8, there were 3 perfect scores. In round 9, there was 1 perfect score. And in round 10, which was the hardest round of the day, there was 1 perfect score. This one's really interesting because usually I get up here and say we need a tiebreaker. We have to go into overtime. We don't need that today, which is really something. Could I invite our representatives from Turkish Airlines to join us? Are they with us in the room? Our representatives from Turkish Airlines? Okay, so we will vamp for just a second. Turkish Airlines, for the 2nd year in a row, is providing our grand prize today. And we'd like to thank Mr. Ismail Öztürk and Ms. Seval Atensoy for being here, and they'll be joining us on stage in just a minute. But before we do that, let me just ask you to help thank, once again, everyone who made this possible. The team members, the chaperones, the sponsoring councils, everyone who joined us here today and at home in our viewing parties. Could you help me to thank them for their support, please? And we have had a small army of folks working behind the scenes today and in front of the scenes to make this possible. Certainly our judges, graders, monitors, round representatives, everyone who joined us up on stage, and certainly Dr. Dan Villanueva, Martina Schwartz, Natasha Munker, Suhaila Tyla, our fabulous core of interns. Could you help me to thank all of them, please? And let's give one more hand to the Carlos and Malú Alvarez family, to all of our sponsors who made today possible. If you could help me to thank them. So I'm going to be announcing in order 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. And at this point, your patience is wearing really thin, right? I will tell you, this was a real race because we have some folks who made it in to the top 3, whose names you have not heard yet today from this stage. When your team name is called, we would invite your team members and your chaperone to come up to the front for a picture and for recognition, and we'll have your prizes up here as well. And I'd like to invite to join us on the stage Mr. Ismail Öztürk from Turkish Airlines, who's just joined us here. And Ismail, if you would wait right there, and we're going to do third place and second place, and then we will go to first place. So with no further ado, in third place, the third place team with a score of 85 out of 100, representing the Naples Council on World Affairs, that's Aubrey Rogers High School. Congratulations. Congratulations. I told you there were some names that you haven't heard yet from the stage, right? In Florida, there's a highway called Alligator Alley, and if you take it across the state, you end up at the Miami World Affairs Council, Miami Beach Senior High School, second place. You guys want to move this one? Yeah. Congratulations. And the first place team, and I will invite Mr. Ismail Ozturk, General Manager of Turkish Airlines in Washington, D.C., to join us on stage before we announce the first place team. Thank you so much. Would you care to say?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to my dear friend Matthew, Suheyla, and my colleagues, Seville, and teachers, students, World Affairs Councils of America members. On behalf of Turkish Airlines, we are really happy to be here as the airlines that flies to more countries than any other airline in the world via one hub, Istanbul. So I hope all the best for you and congratulate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So today's winning team will receive round-trip tickets to Istanbul via Turkish Airlines, and we're very excited for Turkish Airlines' continued support of Academic WorldQuest at the Carlos and Malú Alvarez National Competition. This one is very interesting and timely for this year. There's a state that's called the Crossroads of America. You've seen them on stage already. This year's first place winners from Carmel High School, the Indiana Council on World Affairs. Congratulations. 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 Coach, please. Oh, please. I think we'll do it. Thank you. So just as we finish our competition today, just a few notes. Number one, thank you all again for the hard work that you put in to this year's competition. We're excited for our first, second, and third place winners, but all of you remember our national qualifiers, which is truly special, and thank you again for your hard work to get to this point. Chaperones and councils will receive an electronic survey next week. We do ask you kindly to take the time to let us know what went well and what we can improve on. Thank you for that. A note to the teams, you have until 5 o'clock to freshen up before leaving for the reception, the embassy reception this evening. Please do not be late. We'll meet in the hotel lobby at 5 o'clock. And we'll invite you to take a look around your space to make sure you've gathered all of your belongings before you head out today. Thanks again to everyone who joined us at home. Thank you to all of you. We look forward to seeing you next year.